Father God, we just thank you today for your presence. Lord, we know that you establish all government entities, Lord, and you've established this one to oversee Council Grove and the area around it, Lord. Father, I just pray for each individual here that you would work with them and help them to be in unity with one another as they make decisions. We just thank you and we praise you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Hey, Jay, I grabbed the sign out of your yard finally.
Well, thank you.
That makes you official.
Yeah.
Where that should have been fall out behind me. Okay, so welcome everybody this evening. We'll start, do we have any no public comments?
We do not.
Okay, then we'll move right on down to the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from the previous meeting, the appropriations, the license renewal to sell cereal malt beverages for Dollar General. Do I hear a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Okay, second?
A second.
Okay. Jason and Sharon, all those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion carries 6-0, thank you. Old business, the City Lake plat update, Nick.
I met with Call Valley Engineers last Wednesday to kind of go over, they're going to put together a proposal for us. The roadways, they would have a 40-foot right-of-way from the center of line, so 20 foot from the center of the road. So they're going to put a proposal together on how they're going to do that. They don't think it would take very long because they can use a drone now to shoot things instead of setting up tripods and things like that. So they said that it wouldn't take very long to do once we get figure out what we want to do. So they're working on that with the easements. So where the houses are platted now and where the 40-foot easement stops, some of those properties are going to have a gap in between. So that property, whatever you guys decide to do with it, we either sell it to the homeowner or give it to them or whatever, that gap will have to be addressed. Because you can't leave a spot in between the easement and that property line because it defeats the purpose. It still makes it so it's considered not accessible on a deed. So that whatever that is, some people will have one, some people won't, just because of where their homes are located on the road and where the easement's going to be. So
Why is that easement as narrow as it is?
that's just standard. 40 foot's pretty standard. I mean, we have our easements in town are 40 foot.
Oh,
So it's from the center of the road, it's 20 foot from the center of the road.
All county roads have to be a minimum of 40 foot. also.
Yeah, I was thinking the one in front of my house though was like 90.
Oh, some of them are. Highway 56 on
Yeah,
the east
some
side
of
of town's 100.
Yeah, but the standard.
Yeah,
So for maintenance purposes and to establish it as a road, it has to be 40 foot. So
We never did discuss this, but while we're talking about this, have we talked about having any of the commons areas platted while they're doing this? Would that be more reasonable? Would that be something we need to do?
I mean, are you wanting to plat it into lots? Is that what you're?
There's been question about that. I'm just asking while they're out if it's a more reasonable thing to do.
I mean,
And bringing it up for conversation.
unless you're planning on selling the property and having people develop it, I don't know if there's a purpose to do it right now.
that's what I was thinking. That's more of a subdivision type situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those are large hay areas that are out there.
Right.
We're talking about not small.
I mean, you almost
Yeah.
got 300 acres of pasture out there that gets hay. I mean, it's a pretty big chunk if you want to go have somebody.
Right now, it's just agricultural, right?
Right.
And if after it's platted, would it still be agricultural?
It'd be used, it'd have an agriculture exemption because you still would hay it.
Right.
Okay.
But I don't think unless you're planning on developing it, there's a need to use the money right now to do that.
Well, since we're doing the housing discussions, there have been people who
Yeah,
had seen in the paper that it was on the agenda, the
Yeah.
plat, and we're asking if we were considering that as part of.
that's up to you guys. I mean,
And
that's not up to me. I mean, if you guys want to do that, we can.
it's something, everybody can think about. We can visit, we can visit about it at a later date, but I just wanted to bring it up while we're talking with Call Valley. They're gonna be here, and
Yeah.
since I've been questioned, that question
Yeah, I
has been brought
understand
up to
that.
me
Yeah,
about housing out there, because we're definitely looking for housing development spots, so,
yeah.
so, okay, that was my question. Anybody else have any questions about Cobba?
I just think that's kind of a moot point until we get water and sewer out there to be adding to the, situation we already
Well,
have going on.
yeah, it'd have to be done under a different situation,
Yeah.
probably. There'd have to be different
Yep.
guidelines or whatever you want to call them, so.
So anyways, he said probably 2-3 weeks he'd have something done. I just told him we're getting into November, December and holidays and all that. If I can get something to me in December, early January would probably be fine.
And we're not talking about very much money, it doesn't sound like, because it doesn't take
That
a
I
lot
can't
of
speak
time.
to. Now, it just depends. He's gotta go back, they did shoot, when they did the plat the first time, they shot extra shots, they have quite a bit, they don't have all of it. But some of the stuff that's gonna take some time is, one, I gave him Stuart Porter's information, because when they do these easements, they wanna allow for enough room to put in utilities when that comes about. So they're gonna put that in as part of the drawings that they're gonna give to us as a proposal, that the water and sewer's in there in this easement. So they're gonna have to move some stuff around and things to make it all fit and have the 40-foot easement and things like that with properties that are right on the road and stuff like that, so.
Well, this plat conversation all came up because of
Then,
us talking about this.
well,
People
it came up
requesting
because
that.
when we started doing the annexation, that was a big sticking point, is that the roads weren't platted. So that's kind of part of the reason we're going down this road, is to try to answer some of those questions, get that taken care of.
With that, once they are platted, the county, is that,
Well, that's been the reason they, according to Bill Cassavon, the reason they are not responsible for the roads is because they are not considered real roads. They're considered trails, I think is what he told me. But once they're platted, and they're 40 foot, and there's easements, they
so
technically,
that'll relieve
technically
the
it
city
should be
some
their
expenses,
responsibility. Yeah,
correct?
technically it should be their
Sure.
responsibility, yes.
And it wouldn't change names of roads or anything, it'd all be the same.
So,
That'll be another bridge to cross.
yeah, that's another,
Really long.
yeah, so.
Well, if they're annexed, then that changed.
Well, but if they're in the county and the roads are platted, technically they're county roads then.
Even,
at that-
even if they're annexed into the city.
Well, then they'd be city roads, the
That's
city would
what I
have to
thought, yeah.
maintain.
That's what I
Yeah,
meant.
but we don't know when that's gonna happen,
Well, yeah.
so,
But that would change that.
yes, it would, yes, definitely. I mean, we already maintain them right now, but if they were platted and they're still out in the county would then have the responsibility, or they should have the responsibility, since,
Of the maintenance.
yeah, the maintenance, yeah, so.
Any questions, more in the conversations?
So we'll just be looking for that in December, January.
Yeah, he told me probably 3 weeks, so we'll see when he gets it to me and we can get together and take a look at
And
it.
we can vote on the pricing and all.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you, Nick.
Yep.
New business, sales tax grant committee recommendations.
All right, we met 2 weeks ago, and the committee did, and we had 3 grants, and I'll go through them for you. The first one is the Gathering in the Grove requested $1,500 in sales tax funds to use for Gathering Grove for new social media platforms, new website, and displays. The committee recommends approving that amount.
Are you having a conversation on the 1,500?
And that was an event that was stopped, or gonna be stopped, and I think Nikki Tiffany took it over and started it back up. So,
Nikki and Zoe, you're included in that, aren't you?
yeah,
Yeah,
so,
about that one.
yeah.
But that's really not, we're not talking chamber, we're talking
No,
personal.
this is completely separate. Yeah, this is a personal project.
Okay.
So,
Do I hear any recommendations on that one?
Make a motion that we go ahead and give them the $1,500 they requested from the sales tax committee.
Okay, do I hear?
I'll say.
Okay, Sharon shook her head, you two, I'm gonna take Sharon, she shook her head first. All those in favor? Opposed? 6-0.
all right. The second one is the Council Grove Area Trade Tourism Association is requesting $2,500 in sales tax funds. This will be used to promote trolley events, make improvements, and keep the trolley in good working repair. One of their goals is to eventually make the trolley self-sustainable, so they don't have to keep asking money for it. So I think it's become more popular. It's getting used a lot more, which is a good thing. So
It's a drawing card
Yeah.
for winnings and things.
And obviously, the committee recommended approving it, so.
Do I hear a motion, or, first, any conversation? And the motion?
I think it's a great thing. That's all I have for you.
Okay.
I really do. I think it's always a good deal.
I'll make
for
a
us.
motion to approve it.
Okay. Your second?
I'll second.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve the trolley improvement request from the Council Grove Area Trade and Tourism for $2,500. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries 6-0.
All right, and the third one is, again, Council Grove Area Trade Tourism Association requesting $2,500. This will be used for events like Marking Canyon Light Charm, Light Up Council Grove Holiday Light Contest, the Holiday Light Trolley Tours, then focus on digital advertising as well as creation of reusable promotional material for Canyon Light Charm Small Business Sunday, and the second to last minute in Council Grove Shopping and Dining.
Okay. It's Small Business Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought you said Sunday. I'm sorry.
Nope, Saturday.
Okay.
I'm creating new events.
Marketing.
Hey,
Going all
we
weekend.
can bring it on
Let's
to
do small
Sunday.
business weekend.
Usually the Sunday one's in December. So we've got another one coming up.
So we don't have enough going on. So,
Questions, comments, concerns?
I'll make a motion that we accept this.
Okay. Do I hear a second?
Sure.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded to approve $2,500 for event promotion from, to the Council Grove Area Trade and Tourism Association. All those in favor? Motion carries 6-0. I did say all opposed, but there was nobody to oppose, so. All right, moving forward, the outstanding check resolution, which we all have in front of us, I believe. On your, I have one, maybe you guys don't.
it's in there, it's on their
On there.
tablets.
Okay. What page? Page 2020. This is for the
So yeah,
canceling certain outstanding checks.
yeah, that we haven't done for a long time. The
Okay.
new checks that which the mayor's gonna sign have void after 120 days on them, so we won't have to ever do this again. This just cancels all those checks out that we talked about that are listed, that the banks won't accept anyways, so.
They can be rewritten though if they're, if
Usually
somebody.
once you void them, no. Once you cancel this, it's done.
So somebody, I noticed somebody on that list, I have that list, I did not bring it in with me this evening, but there's one on there for $1,725 or something like that. So if somebody comes in later, they're just out that money? We don't have a deadline for those, that
With
list
it,
of
yeah, I
checks.
mean, once you pass this resolution, it's done,
Okay.
so.
You know, do we need a grace period? I mean, I'm just asking council.
I mean, it's
We
not
need a grace
usually-
period for those.
2015, I mean.
Yeah, there's some.
I mean, there's some,
old
of
ones.
I mean, they're old. I mean, it's no different than, like the tax refund money for the City Lake. We still have over $100,000 of those funds. And we've sent letter after letter, the Lake Association trying to contact folks, and we still have people that aren't
I was of
interested.
the understanding when the city attorney was telling us last week that if they came back in later and requested those funds, that we could rewrite them a new check. So
That's not usually how that works. I mean,
I,
once you void it, it's off the books. So, because they're outstanding right now,
I mean, I can void a check, but that doesn't mean I still don't owe somebody something. Like if I wrote a check to you for or something.
right, that's your
void that
personal,
check.
so that's your personal stuff.
Right.
But when you're dealing with the city funds, you have an outstanding check that hasn't been cashed. And once you void that check, that means that check is void and the city's wiping it off their books. It's no longer an outstanding.
But do you check and see, I mean, so I just want to make,
All your accounts are adjusted accordingly
so you
also.
tried to reach out to the
So
person
if you
that
tried-
is,
I can't speak about
Rewrite it,
2015 or any
the
of
lawyer
those because I wasn't here. So
because I mean,
I-
we don't want people disgruntled and that's quite a bit of money to some people. So why, it's just curious why it never got cash. And so I guess, I mean,
Denise, there's
that'd be
people
my,
that have,
lost it, blown it, I mean.
some
it's
people just never, we've called and
Yeah.
talked to people and let them know, like, I don't have a check, I'm not worried about it. I mean, I don't know, I don't spend all
And I
my.
have no problem, I just wasn't reading in here and maybe I'm totally missing it. I really did think I heard Ryan say that, so
I did
maybe.
too, I did too. I made that mistake.
So it says cancel and set aside upon records of the city of November, yeah, so they're canceled. That's what the ordinance. that's
I'm
what the
wondering,
resolution
before
says.
we sign this resolution, this is just a suggestion, and, or be it for me to make the decision, but I'm wondering we should just print a list, have a list printed in the paper that says, you know, the dates, the warrant numbers, and the amount, not any names or anything, and say, you know, you have 2 weeks to contact, we will vote on this resolution the next meeting, so that there's no question as to whether we try to take care of it.
It's whatever you guys want to do, that's fine. with
I
me.
agree with that.
I do too. I feel like it's the right thing to do.
One-time deal and just, it's,
Okay,
You know, that's our official communications.
Nick will be fielding all those phone calls.
yeah, appreciate it.
Well, they're, you know, they know whether they have that check or not, I would say.
Yeah.
Just say, bring it in, you know, there's no question about it. If you got the check, bring it in and, you know, or get it to the bank and get cash.
Get a new check.
Yeah, bring it in
The
and,
problem you're gonna have with some of this though, guys, is that 2015, we were on a different system that we don't have access to now. So some of this information, we're not gonna have, I'm not gonna have. If somebody says, well, you owe me a check, I have no way of verifying that.
I was gonna say, there should be like,
You know?
I don't know, like how far can we go back on taxes? Is it 5 years or something, or?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they've waited that long and they
You know,
forgot they had it,
because we got new software in 2018.
15 be 7,
One of
so yeah,
the
7
newest
years,
ones,
so
though.
that's,
Most
the-
recent.
you know.
The newest ones were 19.
21.
Oh, and, oh, you know, 21.
So
even.
maybe those
Which
that
the
aren't
21
7 years
Those are
old.
mostly pretty small.
For 68
I
cents.
mean,
yeah.
A lot, well, and a lot of those guys are water refund checks to people that moved out of town. A lot of those 83 cents, 82 cents, all that is water refund stuff.
Well, if we put this in the paper and we put, must be, you know, cash through your bank by such and such date, you know, like, whatever, right, I mean, Jason, you know a little bit more about that.
Well,
But it must
The
be
problem,
that.
the problem with the checks is that the checks are old enough now that banks won't
Bank
accept
will
them.
take
So it
yeah,
doesn't matter.
Okay.
Not all of them, though.
not, let's put it this way, they shouldn't accept them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wonder-
Generally, anything more than 6 months is considered stale dated. And so that brings into question whether or not the check's still good.
Maybe good, okay.
And so, yeah.
You did say
I
that
think
last
when you
week.
heard.
Now, that doesn't mean that it doesn't get endorsed and
Cash sometimes.
cashed and it goes through and the teller just, or whoever just doesn't
Catch it.
Attention.
catch it, yeah.
Well, what about this? Let me ask this question, because I'm not an attorney. So let's just say somebody comes in and they have a check from September 2020, this $1,474.54, okay? Let's say we sign this, they come in, and can they come before the council and request that money to be paid for them, or this is it?
Since there's as much question about it as there is, I think I'd be more comfortable if we wait until Brian's back here and
I do too.
Well, I can call Brian. He's sick. He called me
Yeah.
at 4 o'clock, and I'll call Brian and talk to him.
because I was under the same kind of understanding
I
as
think the way
you
you
could,
spend.
I think, and it causes a problem with the budget as well, because you're taking funds from the 2022, 2023 budget, place something that was done, it's supposed to be in
Take care of it
2015.
2015.
So you're taking money away from your current budget to pay something that should have already been taken care of. And those are all closed, because that stuff doesn't roll over like that, so.
So none of this is standing in outstanding debts? None of, like in our.
It's just on our record. It was
As a
something.
book, in our
So
books.
when we did the audit, this is one of the recommendations that Cindy made, is that we cancel all these checks.
Okay,
That's part of the reason we're doing it, is because that was a recommendation from the audit.
okay. I just don't want any repercussions, you know, people coming back and saying, hey, you didn't give us a chance, you know? Which they have had a chance to cash their check, I understand.
Yeah.
I just-
Also, there's a misspelling in here.
Well, I didn't type it, so,
Just so we know, under count, it says Counts Grove instead of council.
yeah.
So anyway, we need to clear that up before we do that, but, so what's your recommendation?
I think Brian's comment last time, the way I took that, if somebody came in and with one of these old checks, what he said was, he thought it could be rewritten so that it could be
I thought he said
passed
that
to
too.
the bank.
I didn't hear that, but I can call and talk
That
to him
was-
about it.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him about it, and then I'll put it on the.
So we
agenda.
can maybe table this until next,
Yeah.
I don't.
It's been long enough.
And if
Yeah.
So I would say if he says that it could be rewritten, then we put that in the paper one time, and if you can prove to this, then we'll rewrite the check. If you can't, then the next council, we approve this. Do we need to make a motion to do that, or just go with that, Nick, on
I can just put it in the paper. I mean, let me talk to Brian first, and then I'll let you guys know, I'll let the mayor know what Brian says.
Yeah, that way we can kind of,
I mean, we have
our due
time.
diligence.
We have time, so
Yeah.
it's not like we have to get it voted on
We're not at
before
the
the
end of
first
the
year.
year.
Yeah,
Right,
so
Okay.
there's just a recommendation from the auditor to get these checks off the
Sure.
books, so.
I think we should.
Yeah.
It shouldn't
Oh,
be
yeah.
so.
I'm not,
I
I have
know
no
the
prejudice
previous
to
time
whether
that
it
this
should be
was
done.
done,
Yeah.
you know, the previous time it was done, I was asking Megan then, because obviously they were here before me, and they said that once they were voided, they were done. So, I don't know, I'll talk to Brian about if somebody
make
brings in
sure.
an old check,
Yeah.
you know,
As we've said, it's not that much on most of them, but there's some certain.
There's a few in there.
yeah.
All right, then, next, we're gonna go to governing body comments. Nick, I'm gonna start with you tonight.
Okay. Let's see. Tomorrow I meet with BG Consultants to go over the Highway 56 project, the resurfacing that's supposed to take place next summer, 2023. At 9 to go through that, because we're getting close to when it needs to be, the letting needs to happen and bidding and all that stuff. We're also at 10 o'clock meeting with Kansas Wildlife and Parks to make sure there's not overlap with Safe Routes to School money we got in the Highway 56 project, because Highway 56 took into account some of the ramps and stuff that I think are going to be covered by Safe Routes to School funds. So that's what my morning tomorrow is going to be, is meeting with Brady Hellstrom and Jeff Bender from Kansas Wildlife and Parks to kind of go through all that stuff.
Is that 80, is that 56 east or is it the whole thing?
It's all the way up from east city limits all the way to the bottom of Belfry Hill. So, and what we discussed when Keith was on council and Jason was, it's crack sealing, and it's not, they're gonna use, I think, granite chips, was that right, Jason? They're gonna use a different type of chip this time, and chip all the way up to the parking lot of where Conoco is, and then from there, they'll mill the drive lanes through downtown, because they're so alligator cracked, you can't crack seal them or do anything with them. That'll include the 100 block as well, where all that was messed up. To the bottom of Belfry. Then the parking areas, which aren't in bad shape, will be crack sealed, and then they'll do what's called a slurry seal, which seals pavement, and it will be uniform.
So everything matches.
So everything matches. And then they'll go back in and they'll stripe and line everything.
And that'll take care of the lines like over in front of Bolton and all that, which
Yeah.
people
Yeah,
concerned about.
Her lines are bad.
People concerned about that.
yeah. There'll be that, what's it called? It's a plaster type of stuff that they use. They'll have the glass beads in it, like what they do on the highways.
That'll last long.
That lasts a long time, yeah. We were gonna do that over here, but the cost to do it was like $10,000 or $15,000, and we knew that we were gonna do this in a year and a half, and
No reason
it
to
didn't
do
make sense to spend the $15,000 to.
just to dig it back up.
Yeah.
Don't we do some painting?
Yeah, we painted it several times.
That east 56 is bad.
Yeah. We
I
painted it.
drove it last couple days ago, and I think I was driving right down the middle of the road. I didn't even realize it because I couldn't
Yeah.
see the line.
There's areas where they're gonna have to mill and relay asphalt and things like that. That's
Yeah.
all on. So we met, when was that, Jason? We walked half the dang thing. We walked all the way down to Powell's.
Yeah, it was
We walked all downtown. and we walked
fall of last year, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
'Cause it was a cool day, I remember that.
Yeah, but we walked pretty much the whole thing, Jason and I and Keith when he was on council, and the guys from BG Consultants, and looked at everything, so.
Yeah.
Do you have more?
Nope, that's it.
That's all for you. Okay, Karen?
I don't have anything. Thank you.
I have nothing this evening, Mayor.
Okay.
I just want to say thanks to all of our downtown businesses for putting on, and of course Zoe for an amazing candlelight charm. That was super exciting to see everybody. Then a couple nights before, all the lights were on and everybody was down there working hard to get their shops ready to go. And then downtown for Candlelight Charm was pretty exciting to see everybody bouncing around and all the lights on. And so anyway, kudos to them. They did a great job.
Yeah, even with the cold weather and the road being closed, it seemed like we were pretty busy and it was buzzing real good.
And Sean just reminded me of something. I was down there Friday picking up my daughter's birthday cake from Cami, and there was leaves all over the sidewalks again. They cleaned it up on Wednesday with the wind and blew piles back in. So I called Jeff, and a couple of his guys came in early Saturday morning before anybody was up and cleaned the whole downtown again. So I appreciate them
Well,
doing that.
It's awesome.
thank you.
Yeah, those leaves are constant.
Yeah.
They're a challenge downtown here,
Well,
yeah.
I just knew it would be a problem if we left them, so.
Mhm.
They blow right in, you sweep your entryway, they blow right back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're pretty piled up down there,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, thank them for us
Thanks
if
for
you,
doing that.
we'll thank them if we see them, but thank them for us if we would. Okay, Denise? Jason?
Kudos on Candlelight Charm. That was a big event. And this season looks like it's just gonna roll from one event to the next to the next. So it's gonna be a pretty exciting time here, especially now that the road's open, if we can pull some old people back from up north this way, so.
Yeah, and I think people are excited to,
Mhm.
for it to
I
open.
know, I was trying to find out if it was open this morning.
Friday.
I thought it,
I saw on social media, it said Friday.
I know.
Morning?
It's Friday,
Friday morning?
You have to
18th,
go
yes.
today.
I know I have to go tomorrow.
So, I
The,
think Angie Blosser had a post online about it. They're striping and
Uh-huh.
doing getting
Well,
the
yeah,
barricades.
put a post about it.
Yep,
Getting their last inspection and
getting their inspection and stuff, so.
so. And I would just like to thank the city crews, because I saw them out working earlier too, earlier in the week to clean it. And then
Yeah, they went down.
I didn't realize they did it again Saturday, but that's very
Yeah,
nice of them to
well,
get that.
Yeah, it needed done, and Jeff was more than happy to do it, so.
Yeah. And I know they've been working hard. The trees are all the new trees. It looks good, all the
Yeah.
different things going on.
Yeah.
And Candlelight Charm, thank you, Zoe, you guys, it was good. Angie said she looked at our floor and thought, man, I hope our floor can hold all these people. We had over 600 people go through, so we know
That's
that
amazing.
it was a lot, so.
We gave out 750 of those holiday bingo cards that day, which.
Yeah, we ran out, we had to initial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stickers, I've printed 25,000 of them so far for businesses.
People are liking that,
Yeah.
so. I think, I don't think that I have anything else. Yes, I do. We have been requested to have a meeting for the Riverwalk Committee, is that right?
Yeah, regarding Washunga Days, the stage and Washunga Days, we're
Uh-huh.
gonna give money from the Washunga Days event towards the stage. And it'd be designated specifically for that.
They have 25,000, is that what it is?
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. So we need to probably set.
And I
a
will tell
meeting.
you, I think it was Sharon that applied for the Sunflower Grant, correct? Does that sound right? Which one did you apply for?
Well, the one that Chris did?
Well, Dave Baker got a hold of me about a grant, about money for the amphitheater, and it wasn't the base grant. It would have to do with the Sunflower Foundation.
Sunflower Foundation.
I haven't done anything.
Well, maybe Dave's doing it on his own, so I don't know. I just assumed that you had something to do
Trying to
with
figure
that.
out how to
I know
get
you
on that
were
board.
for the bathrooms. That's what he called me about, was specifically bathrooms.
Huh,
So I sent him
hasn't
the,
talked to me.
so I sent him the drawings that we
Okay.
have, so he has something to refer to and show
If
me.
you guys haven't looked up the Sunflower Foundation, that's an interesting group, and they're doing a lot of good work.
Like Kansas, the KTAA Association, that's where we got the grant from for the Flint Hills Trail, the
Mhm.
communities that are involved in that group. So we got, I think, $55,000 from them already, so
Well, maybe we need to apply for some of the Dolly Parton money.
there you go.
That's a lot of money she just received to hand out.
And she said she's giving it all away, so
She already has?
she's going to.
Well, she has to. That's, well, isn't that the,
That's
Whole
the
thing
purpose, yes.
yeah, just give to charity, so.
I am excited about the trees that were planted over.
The Madonna?
Yes, yes. Was that Mona Metzger that did it?
That was DAR
Uh-huh.
that did it.
Okay.
The guys, they bought the trees and our guys
Our
planted
guys
it.
planted it.
And then she
Oh, I
donated.
love it.
Then she donated 2 trees.
For over
We
here.
planted them over here on the east side, over here on the building.
Because after seeing that
The
video,
north
did
side.
you guys all see that
Mhm.
video?
Mhm.
And oh my gosh, when I saw all the old trees, and I remember when I came to town, there used to be some really cool trees on Main Street. And,
Mhm.
you know, it kind of did the whole,
Arbor.
yes. I know they're a pain, but I love trees.
They are
So,
nice.
Lots
They
of-
have,
lots
they
of
have roots
leaves.
and leaves though.
Well, when they die, you have to replace them.
Yeah. Zoe.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but there
Yeah.
is an attraction and development grant that's offered by the Department of Commerce. I think it's gonna be due in February of 2023. That would be also really ideal for the Riverwalk improvements, or the amphitheater.
Okay.
Mike can get with you to get the information.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good one, and I know our byways committee, we met this week and we were talking about how we could utilize that same grant, but
Okay.
if anybody isn't already on that, that would be a good one for us.
You just reminded me of something else.
Yeah?
The radio system. So I spoke to Ken Clam regarding that. I had to remind him who I was. Zoe attended that meeting, sent me a text and we talked. They were under the impression that he was waiting on us to deliver this, all the systems and all the stuff up to the REA. Last time I talked to Ken, he was trying to find a day he could do it and let me know when to take it up there. So what I've done is, I had the guys take it up there. All the equipment's up there. All he needs to do is show up and install it now. And I called him and told him that. I talked to him yesterday. So hopefully this gets it accomplished and it gets going again.
Talking about the radio station.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little.
Hey, Jan, can you make a note of that in the paper?
Yes.
There are some concerned citizens that call
Yeah.
often.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I
Yeah,
can only do so. I can't
Yeah, I
install
know.
it. So
We can't install it. We don't know how.
But
No.
at least now the byways committee isn't blaming us for it.
Yeah, and like I said, when I called Ken, he's like, "Who's this?" I said, "Nick Jones, City Council." Goes, he kind of paused. I said, "It's about the highway radio system." Oh, okay, yeah. And I was like, so he had kind of forgotten about it. It sounded like so, but he's aware now. I told him it's up there, and we need to locate a junction box that was on a pole, and we have done that, and it's up there now too. So, just a matter of him going up there and taking care of it.
We might kind of report too that the housing, some of the housing people have met and we've talked about the land behind the fire
Fire station.
station and some of that, just so people on council know what's kind of going on.
Yeah.
No decisions have been made or anything, but
Yeah, I think they talked, would they have 12 duplexes? Is that what it was? 12 units.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
6
six
duplexes,
units
6 units with
with 2 each, yeah.
2 each is what they're talking about.
That's
They
all
have-
new sewer and water back there already, correct?
Yeah, we had their sewer and water over there.
Yeah.
New when the fire station
The
went.
thing, the conversation the mayor and I had with them was what they were wanting to do was
Low income.
low
senior.
income with a rebate on it where the city wouldn't collect tax on it for a period of time, a long period of time. We have a lot of low-income housing, and I know a lot of it's not filled up, like Valley Village, Neosho Plaza, Stony Hill Apartments. They're not full, you know. So what we talked to them about was moderate income, you know, like
Should fit our teachers, it really needs
Yes.
a place to go right
yep,
now.
stuff like
Teachers,
that.
workers, nurses.
Absolutely.
You know, and the thing that they got on about was, well, rent will be $600, $700, $800 a month, and I said that's what people pay now.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's not out of the question. I said, you know, we got a building downtown where the upstairs rents for $1,200 to $1,400 a month, and it's rented out. I mean, so people will pay it. You just have to have the building to put them in.
I have one of the
Well, if
tenants
it's
down.
decent, they'll pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have one of the tenants in one of the lofts that's up there say that she would really encourage people to do their lofts for rentals in lieu of VRBOs because they're so short that she said there just was nothing for a long time and she really loves it. She thinks that we can keep them rented all the time.
Yeah,
She said there's waiting lists for.
yeah.
From the chamber perspective, I do get calls 3 or 4 times a week looking for that.
Yeah, so we kind of led them toward the moderate as to the low income.
Absolutely.
So, and they seemed receptive of that. They were happy to have the conversation because it gives them more insight on what they need to be doing. So, I
Well,
think
they actually said they learned a lot.
yeah. So,
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Sharon, do you want to talk with Julie and see if there's a time you can do the
But
river
that's what I
walk?
was gonna ask you, how soon you wanna, how soon does that need to happen?
I think they want to do it pretty quick.
Do it
Okay.
next week on the off week. Well, wait, next week's Thanksgiving, so people may not be around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably the week after that would probably work.
I'll
Okay.
check it.
Yeah.
Coming fast.
Yeah, I had to work a whole week without a day off.
Welcome to Chamberlain.
Anybody have anything else? Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Okay, Mark.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay, 6-0, you're voting to adjourn, I assume. You would vote-
Yeah, oh, I'm sorry, yes.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, council, for approving all those grants. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for the
Promise
work
to
you're
make
doing,
the
Zoe.
money worth it.
It's going well, thank you.